Hi and welcome to this week's video. In this week's video, hopefully we're going to get a little way towards getting the battery, master and other bits and pieces sorted out to help power all the electrics we've got fixed into the aircraft rather than running with jump leads as I have been. So let's see how I get on. Come on now. Okay, little jobs. There's my master contactor on the floor there, and in front of that I will mount the battery tray. So got to make that yet. I've got to do some planning and bending. Okay, so I've marked this out. These sort of zigzaggy sections are sort of scrap areas, holes for mounting. Holes in the corners for where the bends are going. These side plates aren't going right to the very end because I'm putting a joggle in there to make allowances for the straps to hold the battery on. I'll round all the corners up once I've got it cut out, as I normally do, but anyhow, off to the bench shears to cut this down. So, so there it is, cut and drilled. It still needs to be deburred yet, and I'm about to set up to do this joggle. Right then, cheating method of doing a joggle if you don't have lots of super equipment for doing it. So I'm using a piece of steel because it just happens to be what I've got that's the right thickness. So this is 2.5 millimeters wide and or thick rather, steel. So this should give us about just over a 2 millimeter step in for our joggle. So I'm putting it in line one side here, and taping it down. I'll turn that over. So effectively that's in line with that bit there, which is nice. I'll put another piece of tape over just to help keep it in place. It's going a bit tight there on the old tape, so I might as well do it in two pieces. There you go. Trying to keep everything as in line as I possibly can. Right, so there, that's in line. I want to put another piece on this side here, and that's set using the lines there. So I've got about 3 millimeters. So it is actually the line between the two is 3 millimeters, about 1.5 times the thickness of the joggle. Depth of the joggle. So if it's stepping down by 2 millimeters, you want 1.5 millimeters, so it's got a nice angle to it. Otherwise you're like trying to bend 290 degrees, which isn't going to work. Especially when you're working with 61 T6. That would not be happy being treated like that. Put a bit of tape on this side as well, just to keep it from flapping about. So there are the two in parallel. And what I'll do now is I'll take this over to the vise and I'll crush it down the vise. Let me show you that. Now here we go. I'll just place this into the vise. And we tighten it up. Real good tighten up, and it's taken on. It doesn't take on the full thickness of the material, so I wanted 2 mil, so I used 2.5. But there we go, and I'll take you back over to the bench and we can see what that looks like. Here we are back at the bench. Just peel off the masking tape. And there we have quite a nice acceptable joggle. Ready to go. So I'll do the same to this side, and then I'll do my bends at the sides and then the bends at the ends. That's going to require block work to do that. Okay, I'll crack on to this other one. Okay, using bend bars, that's what this little setup is, a set of bend bars. I've got the radius which I want to suit the 6061 T6. I'm actually using 2.5 times the thickness of the material for this particular thing. The line which I drew, I put dead in line with the top edge of the bar. And that way I know as it bends, it'll actually bend it to that dimension. It's a way of doing it. Where if you're using a folding machine or something like that, you'd have to make an allowance and do the calculation to where to put the bend jaws before you actually do the bend itself. So with that set like that, I can start to push it over a bit, but my usual thing is to I just grabbed the wrong block. It's a bit too short, a bit too long. A shorter one. Right. The block that's just the right length. I can now persuade it down. Slacken the bolts, and there's the bend. And see the drillings there just helps relieve the stress on those corners there. Otherwise you'd be trying to do things in two directions, hence that. But there we go. So that's the first bend, near enough 90 degrees. I'll do the next one, and I'll only be able to partially do this, so I'll end up having to finish it by placing it on a block and working around. So, okay, sorry, it's not quite to the final bend position. Needs to have a little bit more. So I'm going to take this block. I'm going to put a plane down the side just to put a slight radius on it, and then that will sit in there nicely, and I can finish off the bend, putting this into the vise and just hitting it with a hammer to get it to sort itself out a little bit. It should come out okay. We'll see. So there we are, sort of bent to its shape. Some slight adjustment needed, and we're ready to go. So I'll give this will be all painted up, and I'll show you the final product in position, hopefully. So there's the final result. That's the well, not the final result, to go screw it into the aircraft would be the final result, but there it is, all painted up with the foam padding for the battery to go into. Very small, compact. It's a lithium-ion battery with a battery control unit built in that I'm going to use. Hopefully it'll give it the correct amount of cold cranking amps, but it's pretty much all I can fit in to the space I have available, unless I start moving something further back. But I'm trying to save a bit of weight, and it should have enough amperage to control everything I needed to control. So there we have the battery tray mounted next to the master isolator, and velcro straps will just be able to slide underneath that tray. Two of them that will be velcro with sort of buckle type setup to hold the battery down. So really I'm going to end up having to take out the port foot rest, or slacken it off, so I can run the cables underneath that on the post which I've already set up there, and up to the master switch and the master contact breaker, and around to the starter motor position. So those cables can now be made up and set up, so that should be a bit of a laugh. Right, yeah, anyway, better crack on. Well, that's it for this week, folks. I know not an awful lot, but I've been flying. I'm learning a new CAD program which I'm using to allow us to make up some 3D prints for work and things like that, so I'm having a bit of a play around that, which has distracted me from the build, one might say, but it's something which might be useful for me for the build later. So it's a little bit of a to and fro, and I've also been held up by waiting for some components which I ordered to arrive. For some reason they seem to get lost in the post occasionally, but there we go. We've made a little bit of progress. Hopefully next week we'll make a load more. We can only hope, can't we? So look after yourselves, keep fit, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye now. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up. You can subscribe or even hit the little bell notification for future videos. Any comments would be appreciated, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Remember, go fly and feel the sky.